welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Luke. Luke is the third gospel, the third book in the New Testament, and Luke is a pretty interesting book of the Bible. Most likely it was written by Luke himself, which was one of Jesus' disciples, and it has, I'm trying to see how many chapters it has. I believe it's 23, but I'm just checking to make sure. It has 24 chapters in the book of Luke. And so Luke is one of the most comprehensive of all the four Gospels. You have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, four Gospels, and Luke is the most comprehensive. Some people say that he was a Gentile doctor, perhaps, but he wasn't Jewish like Matthew and Mark. And so it's a different book, it's a different feel, and it's definitely more comprehensive. Like I said, it's the longest of the four Gospels, the most comprehensive, and it was probably written somewhere between AD 58 to 63 is what I've seen in the commentaries and so forth. And so Luke is a long book to get through and to read, but it is so worth the journey. It really chronicles the life of Christ in much detail. Now, the big theme that we see throughout the book of Luke is all about Jesus. Jesus being the Son of God, Jesus being the one who comes to seek and to save the lost, how he was born, how he lived, how he ministered, how he died, and then he rose again. And it's unique because of its perspective. Let me give you an example. In the book of Matthew, it begins with a genealogy, right? And it tells the story of how Jesus came, but the genealogy starts with Abraham, whereas in Luke, the genealogy that Luke puts together, it actually starts with Adam. So it's a more comprehensive and bigger picture that Christ came to save the whole world versus, his humanity so much. It's not just Gentiles. And so this book is a book that makes you think that all of us are included. All of us are in the plan of Christ. And so in that way, it's unique. Literally, he starts with Adam, then Adam had Abraham, and then Abraham has David, and then he has Nathan on, I believe it's Nathan on Mary's side, and Solomon on his father's side, his earthly father on Joseph's side. And so those two, Joseph and Mary, get together and they have Jesus. And so you see the lineage come down, but it starts from Adam. And so what happens is we're comparing and contrasting the first Adam with the last Adam, as the Bible calls it. And so the first Adam brought, sin into the world. The first human people brought sin into the world. The last Adam comes to clean up the world. He is the one who takes all the sin on himself and dies on the cross to save the world. And so it's so neat because that's how history divides itself. It starts from, eternity past, and then God begins time, and then we have all of our before Christ stuff. Then Jesus comes, who is the second Adam. And so then time starts moving to AD, Anno Domini. And so it's all after Christ, AD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so Luke helps us to get this big picture about how important it is that Jesus came to seek not just the Jewish people, but also the Gentiles. See, Paul was one of those disciples who had a real burden for the less than people, for the other than, for women, for the poor, for the oppressed. And because of that, the picture that he paints of Christ is much more massive. And it includes those who are cast aside, who are marginalized. And so this gospel is actually a really good way to pull out some application here to make us think about the people who are poor, less than, marginalized, pushed to the side, those who we'd rather not share the gospel with, those who we think are worthy to share the gospel with. And so some application that I personally pulled out of this book is that compassion and warmth lends itself to salvation. That Christ didn't come to save all the rich people. He didn't come to save all the people of a certain color, of a certain ethnicity or nationality, but he came to save the world. He came to save sinners, to seek and save the lost, because he is the Son of man. So I hope you really enjoy reading the book of Luke. I pray that it's a blessing to you. It's a long one with those 26 chapters, but getting through it is so fun. And then comparing Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, all for what they call synoptic gospels, is so interesting as well, which I totally did when I was going through the study. Made a whole chart of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and compared them all, and it was really fun. So I hope you have fun. I hope this was helpful to you. If so, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a comment below, ask a question. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and get ready to go into John after this. See you later. Bye.